Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As we mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about the role of women in enhancing and developing the Egyptian society and the small and medium enterprises and its significance. We will also be talking about the role of the government in empowering women, and on this issue we're glad to be joined today by Dr. Iqbal Youssef, a journalist and a prominent media figure. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good
My
morning.
pleasure.
The pleasure is ours, Dr. Iqbal.
Mrs., not doctor.
Okay, let's talk about the main issue for this topic, which is the role of the government or society or whoever. You can decide whoever is really the best one, who is empowering women and their abilities and trying to give them the driving force to be able to achieve in society.
Well, I think NGOs and civil societies are more active in this field, more than the government actually. And they can reach remote villages, the poor villages, and they do fund, in a way, medium and small-scale projects and enterprises helping women. And more important, they provide for the necessary training to help them gain the skills required to be actually successful in what they are doing. This is very important as well. And again, they help in eradicating illiteracy, which is important for them to understand what they are doing.
Right. If we talk about small and medium enterprises, what do you think are the most suitable projects that suits women in Egypt?
Projects based on manual skills and according to the surrounding environment and the surrounding culture. For instance, in villages you'll find them more interested in raising cattle, for instance, and in agriculture. In Nuba and Bedouin societies, they are more interested, let's say, in the carpets and rugs manufacturing, making, and the embroidery and so on. So it depends upon the surrounding culture. This helps them improve their skills quicker.
Right. Miss Iqbal, women in rural areas and in informal settlements and almost, the poor women in the poor sector is the women inside the poor sector are becoming a role model worldwide, not only in Egypt. They face a lot of hardships. However, they every day, every morning, as the sun rises, they try to overcome it the best they can. And they have a lot of achievements. So talk to us about the hardships of women in that field and also the challenges that you think the best we can try to overcome it the best we can. When we talk about the civil society, we mean the government, we mean all the sectors.
The main challenge is that, unfortunately, whatever such women in these low classes do, they are never appreciated, whatever they do. So
They're not appreciated by the society or by the family or by
the family and the society. Okay, what are the gains? What are the gains? Even by the society, they always feel degraded. We are saying, okay, they might be very productive, but again, we are mentioning them as lower classes. Though they could be very productive and they could be very skillful in what they're doing. But again, one big problem is that they're always unappreciated. And of course, above all, within their families. They are overloaded with burdens and burdens of commitments, aside from whatever projects or enterprises they are involved in. And again, they're doing their best, but in the end, they just face a bitter reality. All their effort goes in vain. And the gains, they go to the family and not to the woman herself.
Right. How far do you think the Egyptian woman has gained her rights so far in the Egyptian society?
Not really, not much, no. No, not much. Because even the upper middle society, they are still striving to gain their rights, their political rights, their legal rights. No, not much, unfortunately.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you evaluate?
Well, let's put it 6 out of 10. 6 to 6.5 maximum. No. You still, well, imagine one of us here running for presidency.
You're talking about decision-making positions. They still haven't, they've come a long way, but still they haven't
And
achieved
again,
the
in any sector, you'll find it.
like a judge, like a president, like a CEO of a company, and stuff like that.
Well, again, they take it in a sarcastic manner when the leader is a female. We
Right.
still face this, unfortunately.
Let's talk about the different projects that are already, I mean, the bright side.
Okay.
Let's move to the bright side, if
Okay.
there is any. Out of your own
No, there
assessment,
is.
what are the different projects or the different attempts that are made by civil societies currently, contemporary speaking, to be able to push women towards a more effective role in society as someone who has a driving force to be able to push forward for development?
Well, I'll give an example. Of course, she's not in a rural area or something like that. We'll take the example as a Fahmi, for instance. She began her own project on her own, and now she is quite a name.
Even in maybe among the other Middle East countries, she's well known.
Yes, of course, and I think now she's being introduced in some European markets as well.
Right.
So this is a very bright example. She managed to do what she wanted on her own. And definitely she faced lots
As a
and lots
family,
of
it didn't
difficulties.
start from scratch. I
No, she did not.
She comes from.
Well, of course, yes. No, we are just
established,
giving a bright
background.
example. Okay,
Right.
we're just giving a bright example. But, well, of course, in poor areas, no, you'll find most women are funding their families. They are the main source to fund the family. And right now you'll find many they are heading to embroidery, to tailoring, and so on. So this is something promising. I think so. This is something promising.
Right. What about the role of women in reviving the Egyptian economy? Do you think she has a good role to play in this?
Well, here, of course, they can do an excellent role, but now here we need the support of the government, not the NGOs. You need the support of the government on a national scale, because if each and every one would go on individually, no, again, you won't ever feel the effect. You need
The support of the government.
Well, of course.
How do you envision this?
Well, I think that they should set long-term strategies for
women?
yes, working groups, so that you'll find something concrete and something that shows the bright result.
You mean projects to be planned by the government and implemented by women?
Yes, exactly, but on a large scale.
But we haven't seen this so far taking place.
Because we depend on the civil societies and the NGOs, not the government. And again, we have to face it, the government is tied down with other difficulties, other hardships.
Right, Mrs. Youssef, as a journalist and a writer, we have seen, of course, you have observed in the past 4 or 5 years how women have had a driving force in the political life.
Yes.
In January 25th revolution and following that all the way until June 30th, their voices have been outweighing the voices of men among the streets. June 30th, they went out in great numbers, outweighing the numbers of men. And during the referendum, in the, voting for the Constitution, everything, presidential elections. So,
the president himself addressed women.
Right. But do you think the time have paid back women?
Name
what
one.
They deserve?
Okay,
do you
just
think?
mention one name.
One name.
For women. A woman.
One achievement?
No, name one.
Lots of names. From youth and from contemporary journalists, from...
No, you'll always find the leading, again, you'll find the leading names.
People who have achieved. I'm talking about women who have made achievements.
They did
right, but
great effort. But again, you'll find...
Right. This is not what I'm talking about, because the director is telling me about the opposite side. I am talking about if the government, if the whole country have paid them back. This is what I'm talking about.
No.
Not about the women themselves, either ministers or anyone.
No, unfortunately, again, I'll say it, you have to change the culture. You have to change their culture. Okay, they were
because you talked
excellent.
You mentioned you made a very important point that President Sisi
mentioned. Yes, exactly. He addressed women in particular, and he clearly said, "You bring the men to the streets. You bring them down to the elections. You push them to participate." But unfortunately...
Don't you think that appointing that number of women in the parliament by the president, the women that were lately appointed in the 2016...
No, it would have been much better if they were elected. Now, this is the difference. You need to change the culture surrounding you.
Appointing those women ministers, like my director is saying, Rada Farouk is telling me about the ministers, so this is a very good point also.
This is a good point, but again, they were appointed and not elected. This is the main difference we're speaking of.
So you're talking about societal appreciation?
Yes, of course. This is very important, because what they are doing to improve the society as a whole. So they should be rewarded by the society as a whole. Why not?
It's their right. If we go back to the point of women achieving her rights, and we compare how far Egyptian women achieved her right in comparison to Arab women and women in the West, how do you draw this comparison?
Well, compared to Arab women, of course, Egyptians come in the lead. But no, in the West, no. Again, it has to do with the culture. But as far as I've read, even in the States, they didn't really appreciate much having Hillary Clinton running for presidency. Again, that wasn't accepted by the majority of the Americans. So it has to do with the society as a whole. But of course, in the West, okay, you've got Angela Merkel.
But that was expected in South Africa, as we found women presidents in South Africa.
Yes, that was. But
something on our side here in Africa.
Okay, but we want it in Egypt.
Dr. Bel Youssef, a journalist, many thanks for your insight.
It was my pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And dear viewers, with this we come to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show. You were in the company of Naveen Ramzi and Gina Hussein. Many thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for more coming up here on Nile TV International.